you very much for coming. I'm really glad that so many people came. And hopefully I'm going to entertain you enough, long enough for you to stay. By the way, talking about Rakuten culture, of course, her clothes is traditional Chinese clothes. It's not cosplay, right? So Halloween is coming up, right? And so we decided to have a Halloween date in Rakuten. So basically, workers are encouraged to buy. So we have right now we have a Halloween event page on the top page. I don't know if you noticed this in the pumpkin picture, the top page. I wanted to show you. My Wi-Fi is not working. And basically, employees are encouraged to buy some costume from the event page, and they're encouraged to wear on the I don't know, you remember like 26th, like on Thursday, next Thursday, right? During the work time. And of course, since executives are the one who are pushing this kind of ideas, all the executives are kind of almost forced to wear costume, and so that's kind of very easygoing culture is what we have. So if you like this kind of very friendly environment, Rakuten is a very good place to be. Okay. So with that, I want to stay connected. So I think I have lots of time for questions. So you should really, interfere with me if you have questions and if you want to know more details. Okay, just shout out. Okay, and if I'm speaking too quickly, also let me know. Okay. But I cannot switch to Japanese even if you request. Okay. Okay, so I want to talk about how Rakuten is going to use its data and create omotenashi. Okay, so I really like the concept of omotenashi, and I want to focus on that kind of service improvement. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Takuya Kitagawa, and I'm right now a technical director of data science. I'm leading the team. So basically, this team, actually has just started, from September 1st. It's brand new. Miki got really excited about it. So. And it's called a Behavior Insight Strategy team. And interesting thing is this team is kind of a combination of science and business. So we not only involved with kind of very heavy machine learning type of algorithms, but also we get involved with very fundamental strategic decisions. Okay, so our team is not a very small team in the very big department. We actually directly report to Miki. We discuss results with Miki, and that's why you might be able to come out with a very big idea, okay? And just maybe some crazy idea, but if Miki says he wants to do it, he will do it. So basically, you're free to imagine what you want to do with data and with the technology, okay? And you can just push to Miki, and if you get Miki's permission, you can basically good to go. Okay. So this is really exciting environment. So that's what I want to say. But my background, my second phase is actually I'm a theoretical physicist. Okay, this phase looks more like a theoretical physicist than that one, right? And of course, this kind of clothes is not really my standard clothes. Okay, I only wear very dirty clothes usually, but I cannot do it today. So, and so I've been in Harvard for almost 9 years by now, and I'm actually still living in Boston. And I'm a physicist, so I publish papers in Nature Science. Okay, so that's kind of what I do. So if you're interested in quantum computer and stuff, please let me know. I do know a significant amount of physics, so we can have fun chatting about that. Okay, so that's it for my introduction. If you want more about me, you can just ask me later. So for those of you here, maybe you already know this, but I want to kind of recap what data science is. And data part of data science is kind of easy to understand, right? Because there are so many online services like Twitter, Facebook, Rakuten, as well as Amazon, our computer. Okay, So because everything is taking place online, it's easy to collect data. It's easy to kind of change the content and get the feedback from users, etc. So that's kind of one aspect that you know about. But what's actually a little underemphasized so far is really the chance to get idea about offline activities. Okay, so almost all the services offline right now is processed through computers, right? So because computers are always involved in this kind of data processing, they are not intentionally kind of collecting those data, but kind of implicitly have the access to the data. So what that means is almost all our activities are kind of recorded in a digital form. Okay. That's really exciting, right? And so that we accumulate a huge amount of data. That's kind of just fact, right? And so science part of the data science. So this is kind of my take. Maybe different people have different understanding of what data science is. But my take is basically because I'm from academic field and I've been in Harvard for 9 years. I've been talking with lots of psychologists, economists, and etc. And when they talk about those fields, they're always limited by amount of data they have. The study of the human mind is based on, for example, questionnaire or a transaction history they have, census, admission history. And all those small amount of data they have, usually in psychology, you can only implement a questionnaire for at most 1,000 people. It costs a lot of money already for 1,000 people, and you can't really scale up to 10,000 people. And with that small amount of data, we gain significant amount of understanding. And so my point is, if you have such a big data, right, you can basically get a new understanding of human being, right? So that's my excitement. As an academic, I just kind of really wanted to discover a completely new field, completely different framework to understand human being. Using a computer science as well as statistics, physics, and psychology. Maybe we should be able to construct a completely new world. Right? And so that was my excitement. So when Mickey came to Harvard, I kind of talked with him about it, and he was like, "Just do it." Right? So I'm doing it. Okay. But so from Rakuten point of view, what do we want to do? So basically, once you get a good understanding of what human behaviors are and what people are thinking, then this is really a basis for omotenashi, right? Omotenashi is really about caring about others, understanding others and providing what they need, even if they're not, explicitly asking for it. You just, kind of, kuki-o, right? Just read the air. That's all about omotenashi. And because I live in the United States for such a long time, I really like this core value of Japanese culture. We have such a great hospitality. We really should propagate this core value of Japan to the world. So that's really my belief. And I think, combination of data science and omotenashi is just kind of fun to explore, right? Can we actually do it? It's a really open question. And it really depends on you guys, right? Whether Japanese omotenashi can be really appreciated in the world or not. Because our economy is somehow going down compared to China, right? Next target we have to have is our very high spirit of hospitality. And that's really, I think, what we should be proud of. So that's what I want to do. I really want to promote omotenashi in Rakuten culture as well as Japan as a whole. So, so I've been talking about understanding customer needs, understanding people's needs. But if you talk with older-fashioned marketing people, they say, well, we all understand it. People working in restaurant understand better than you guys, about omotenashi is and what the customer wants, right? And so basically, sorry, I got it. So what I want to say is actually, so I'm talking about understanding customer needs, but you might ask, how important is it, right? If you think about Rakuten has many business, right? So e-commerce, horse racing business, also a baseball team, right? And so what I'm doing, how much impact can I have in the company or in society? And just give you an idea, how important this kind of a concept is actually implemented in the reality. I'll give you an example of a personalized recommendation. I'm pretty sure you guys most of them you are experts in this type of understanding. So I don't have to tell you about algorithm, but I want to actually tell you how much impact this personalized recommendation have. Now, you might already know, right? So personal recommendation is about kind of recommending what you might want to buy based on previous purchases. And you guys have guessed, so this is an Amazon page, And Amazon sells a lot of products. And do you know how many percentage of their sales goes through these kind of recommendations? Who thinks 10%? 10%? More than that? More than that? 20? More? 30? More? Oh wow. You believe in Amazon. Yeah, that's a good guess, actually, 30%. But that's significant, you know. If you think about it, you know, recommendation is really one function, right? One single function that, you know, can contribute to 30%. It's huge. How about LinkedIn? So I have another data about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, how many job applications go through recommendations? More than this or less than this?
More than this.
More than this? That's a good guess. Really good. 50%. That's a lot, you know. So basically, if you think about Rakuten, we have a 1 trillion yen business. That's a huge amount of money. And if if we work harder, right now we are not reaching this percentage yet, I think. If we really work hard, you know, our impact could be as big as 30%. Okay? And if you could put, you know, more omotenashi onto Otopuri, right? Then maybe we can increase it to 70% or 80%. You know, most of our sales could come from this kind of idea, but you know, that's kind of numbers that can give you an idea how important these are. Okay, and okay, so this is kind of what I talked about before. Basically, if you ask, you know, some marketing people, they usually intuitively understand what customers want. So that's what they usually implement, right? You know, I don't know, young people like new stuff, something like that, right? You know, traditional idea of what people want. And so I want to talk about why data science. Science is important. Why being quantitative and also testing everything is very important. So there's a story coming from this website. If you're interested, you should go to this website. There's a guy called Greg Linden who used to work at Amazon, and he came out with a really good idea. So this is a long time ago, like, you know, I think 5 to 10 years ago. He came out with the idea of recommending items based on the items sitting in a cart. Okay, so you know, that's kind of sounds like a very good idea. But you know, because he was working with hands-on how customers are behaving in the system, he thought this was a really good idea, right? And especially this kind of recommendation is very different from much more general recommendation coming from purchases, because in terms of relevance to the customers, purchase history contains like many years of history, right? But this one, it's more likely that the things that are sitting in a cart are more kind of contextually relevant to the person, right? Because it's likely that this person has just put in the item, right? And also, you can kind of sell things in a cross-genre fashion, right? Because if I'm buying iPhone, right, and then I might want to buy iPhone case, right? So that kind of idea is very different from recommending much more generally, you know, different books. So this you can you know, kind of encourage people to buy additional stuff by using this method. So so he came up with this idea and he proposed it to his manager. And of course, as a typical case, you know, it's a fight between technicians, or sorry, engineers and managers. And so senior vice president at that time of Amazon strongly opposed it. And he basically said, forget about it. You know, we're not going to waste time in that kind of project. Okay? So this is kind of sad story. But you know, he was a great engineer. As a great engineer, you just have to ignore him, right? And he ignored the manager and implement it, and then send it to A/B testing. Okay? So this is the kind of nice thing about kind of being an engineer. You can just make it, right? And so as a result of A/B testing, as you expect, you know, the test was a wild success, and it just cost too much money for them not to implement this kind of function, and just the manager couldn't ignore it. So I think it was important. So what's the lesson, right? What's the lesson from this kind of story? So it's very clear to me. Managers at Amazon sucks. Just kidding. Right? that's really not the lesson. My point is, this kind of mistake can happen everywhere, right? Your intuitions are so strong, you know, that many managers, not only managers, right? Managers and also the engineer are always working towards the same goal. They want to increase the profit of the company. So they are not really, you know, bad people. Right? They're just believing what they believe. But it's a truth that the intuitions and the experience sometimes, you know, give you a wrong idea. That's why you have to really test. Right? So you have to carry out quantitative measurements if you really want to know what works. And I read one time the presentation slide from somebody, I forgot who he was, but he was basically saying some company big like Amazon, and he was saying all the A/B testing they implement in the company, right? Usually only 1/3 of it is only correct. Your expectation is correct, and 2/3 of it is just either just simply doesn't work or it actually makes things worse. Okay, so keep in mind, those people are very serious people. They think very hard and they try to come up with idea and implement them. Implementation really takes time, so they don't want to waste time. So they only probably try a best idea they have. But yet, 2/3 of the time they fail. Okay, so keep that in mind. So this kind of success rate either discourages you, but if you're like me, really make you happy, because basically what that says is we don't really understand what people want. We don't have understanding of what people want. So there's a kind of still room for really a great revolution of understanding of people. Right? We don't have a good framework yet. So I'm kind of excited about that perspective. There's a pretty tremendous amount of things we can do using computer science as well as other psychological field to get people's understanding. Okay, and so talking about kind of counterintuitive ideas, right? I want to give you one interesting insight into Rakuten services. So data shows young people like Amazon better than Rakuten. This is just actually very particular segmentation of people, like 20 people who are 20s male, and if people get older, they like Rakuten more, and if you're actually female, you actually like Rakuten a little better. So this is just a statistic. So, and so many people. So like if I talk with my kind of kohai, right? Then all they say is well, Rakuten page is so dirty. Why don't you just improve it? Right? And so that's kind of a comparison I'm making. It's very clean and kind of short page, Amazon page, versus very long, kind of cluttered Rakuten page. But yet, Rakuten page sells so much. We are #1 e-commerce company in Japan, by far actually. So why, right? Why, if people complain so much, why do we sell? So that's a big question, and I think that's. I want to give you a kind of indication of a hypothesis of what I think why this is. So I have to go into the kind of core value of Amazon Rakuten. Core value of Amazon Rakuten are completely different. Okay, so core value of Amazon. So if you ask the CEO of the company, they say our value is to provide the lowest possible value to the customers, and they don't care anything else. Okay, they don't care about actually their merchants. If the merchant is selling some good stuff and they're selling so well, they basically Amazon actually sells exactly the same item with a lower price, and actually those merchants actually go out of business sometimes. So because they care about customers the most. And I don't think that's a bad thing. That could be a kind of morality issue, but it could be a bad thing or a good thing. But they really care about customers. They care about you guys. So I think that's an okay kind of strategy. But our core value is very different. Our core value is entertainment. Okay, and so Amazon is really good at selling electronics and books, right? That even I sometimes buy electronics from them. And this is electronics and books. You don't really care where you buy from, as long as it is a product. It's the same product where you buy it. That's why price really matters to them. The lowest price is what matters to the customer and to them. But our company actually sells much more fashion clothes and what else? Fashion clothes and food, right? Those are sometimes very small merchants produce really good clothes, right? It's something that you really like. So those kind of things, Amazon is not very good at selling with this very short pitch. And I want to explain you why, with our business, who are selling so much fashion clothes as well as food, this kind of long page style is actually much better than a short length page. There's actually a reason behind it, right? It's not just we are kind of really bad at making website. Merchants are really good at making websites. They know what to do, what they are doing, and they sell. This one sells much better. And kind of understanding behind why long page is much better than short page for our business comes from, in my opinion. So this is actually not shared by everybody. It's just my opinion. Comes from this book called Psychology of Influence. This is a really interesting book. So if you're interested, please read. And there they describe, in order to call for action from customers or from other people, what factors really influence people. Okay, and they list six different items, such as like social proof. So if you go to ScalpD, ScalpD really sells well in our website. And if you go to ScalpD, you see there are many reference to what their rankings were in Rakuten Ichiba. So I'm actually really the same person. If I see it was #1 in Amazon, I kind of like to buy it. Because kind of if people like this so much, it must be it must be pretty good, right? So it makes it much easier for us to make decisions, to be convinced. And second point that the psychology influence talks about is liking. So so if you look at ScalpD product like this, it's hard to imagine what it does. Right? Maybe it grows hair. I'm not sure. Right? But if you look at the Miyasako, maybe you like Miyasako better than ScalpD character. So so it gives you much kind of clear idea of what it could do, and it gives you it lingers in your mind much better. Okay, so that's pretty true. And if you like Miyasako, if you don't like Miyasako, this doesn't work. Right? If you don't find it, if you find it funny, it doesn't work. But if you like Miyasako, this really becomes a persuasion method, and actually becomes much more fun to look at Miyasako's face than just a very simple ScalpD picture. Right? I mean, it doesn't really tell us anything. Okay. And third kind of a point that they use as persuasion method is experience. Right? So they say we have 11 years experience. Just like I actually told you about myself, I published 17 papers in Nature Science, and that kind of becomes more also creative, right? You're kind of more keen to listen to me, but they use exactly the same kind of methodology. And so this really helps you, kind of, to me, maybe it's just to me, but it's much more fun to read through these things and try to decide, why ScalpD is good, right? Rather than just look at the ScalpD picture and price. It's really hard for me to decide whether I should grow my hair with ScalpD or with something else. Right? So. So basically, I think I talked more about qualitative feature of Rakuten page, but my belief is all these things could be more scientific. Maybe I can maybe do a natural language processing and pick out what are the kind of sentences that brings more convincing argument to the customers, and maybe by kind of scoring it in each page, why each page is more convincing. Maybe I can find out a very interesting algorithm for constructing a website which is fit for recommending fashion rather than just electronics. Okay. There's a completely different understanding between them. Okay. So that's kind of thing what I want to do, and it's kind of a very right now hypothesis-based idea, but in the future we want to really seriously do it. So if you're interested, please let me know. Okay, so far I kind of described kind of generally why data science is important and data science is interesting, and I want to actually start talking about what we did so far. I think our idea is pretty good, and how we are improving the Rakuten's customers' experience. And so, if I ask you guys in Rakuten, if you are free to improve something, what are you going to improve?
Spammer.
That's right. Email, right? All right, that's a very good question. We are doing it. Believe it or not, we are actually a behavior insight strategy team is responsible for analyzing email, and we have a direct order from Mickey to improve it. Okay, so we are working hard. Of course, and it's a business. We have to deal with many people who opposes my idea and other people's idea. But we are kind of trying to improve our Rakuten customers' experience. For example, you have mail or top page, right? Maybe some people don't like our top page, but I have to tell you why it's so challenging to improve top page or email, right? So currently our number says we have 78 million, 7,800 万 membership in Rakuten. That's huge, right? It's like 1/2 of our entire population. Too big. So because of this, we have extremely diverse interest in people. Right? everybody is different. What they want to receive is very different. And because of this, we have to actually adjust our websites to who, right? It's not clear, should I, cater just to myself, or meet his preference? It's really not clear. And just give you an idea, how people's interests are diverse. If you're a beginning user in Rakuten, you're more likely to actually interested in this kensaku box, right, search box. Because typically, suppose friends they come to Rakuten Talk, they want to find something, they want to buy something, so they want to immediately identify, what are available. So they usually go to this point. But if you are more become savvy and become a much more heavy user in Rakuten, interestingly, people start clicking on this part, because they had a kind of good experience with Rakuten. They decided to they have free time, so they kind of decided to wander around in Rakuten, and boom, right in the center, kind of a. I'm from Osaka, so I'm kind of attracted to this kind of a logo. Kind of out of curiosity, I click on it, and that happens to actually many heavy users in Rakuten. They really actually sometimes like this kind of center logo, and they do enjoy it because those campaigns actually provide you with quite good benefit if you use it correctly. And another case, right? If people are coming to our website to buy gifts, for example, on the Mother's Day or for somebody's birthday, what matters sometimes is really delivery, how fast they can deliver. Right? So sometimes we have to display this kind of incentives for the fast delivery service to just let them know we can deliver quickly with a small additional fee. Okay? So that's kind of example. So with so much intention coming into our website, how are we going to design our top page? So that's a challenge we are facing, right? Because we are selling so well right now. It's not even clear, what to change. Of course, people say it's so cluttered, etc. But is that person's kind of opinion correct? Going back to scientific approach, you really have to test it, right? So that's kind of challenge you have to face. And basically, what the company wants our team to do is, or data science team to do is to figure out, what's the volume of each kind of intention, and that's what we are doing. And in my opinion, there are 4 factors you have to understand. So first of all, you have to understand the intention of users. Okay, why did they come? Did they come here to buy gifts? Did they come here to buy heavy stuff like water and rice and just refrigerated purchase, those groceries? Or did they come here to find something related to their hobby, like golf club, cat food, etc. And then you have to understand what people do, how they behave in the website, and then action and emotion. Okay? So traditionally, Amazon has been focusing on this action part, what they purchase. They're really good at analyzing, using collaborative filtering, etc., creating recommendation algorithm, very sophisticated. But I think what sometimes maybe they're doing it already, but what Rakuten decided to focus on is intention. Because we want to do omotenashi, we want to figure out how we can read off intention from the data. Okay, so this is not easy question. I'm not sure. Maybe computer scientists already have figured this out. I don't really know yet. From a psychological point of view, this is very easy to do. And so, in order to read off the intention, we decided to build a browsing model. It's a very simple one. So we look at the entry channel, where they come from, Google, bookmark, and then we decided to look at the landing page. Where did they go? In top page, search result. Together, from my experience of just looking at, just thinking about these things, actually gives you idea of why people come to our website. And I'll give you an example later to make it more easy to understand. And then we have to look at how they try to achieve this goal, right? With looking at what services they are using in our website. And then at the end we look at what action they took. Did they read review? Did they reach item? Did they make purchases? Okay, so examples, right? So I'm going to give you an example of some typical behavior of users on our website. So people come, for example, from Google very often. And I actually do it this very often. I sometimes just, because I don't bookmark Rakuten page, I just Google Rakuten name and I come to the Rakuten top page. Okay. This already indicates, this person is kind of like Rakuten already. They maybe use it before or something. And then type in some specific name in the iPhone 5 case, for example, and then go to the merchant item page and make a purchase. And if you look at this path, and if you look at, for example, how long it takes to go through all these for a single person, or how many page views they take, we noticed it's actually a very quick purchase because they have very clear intention of what they want to buy. It doesn't take them too long to actually to find them and to buy, make a decision. So this is kind of one example of how we are reading off the intentions from the browsing class. Right? If you look through this path, if you grow your imagination, you can figure out this is actually a very quick purchase process. Okay? And of course, I think many people might have objection. Maybe this could be read off as something else, etc. If this person is doing more stuff, it's different. All those stuff is really something we want to do. We haven't been able to do it yet, but I think there's a tremendous interesting kind of idea behind this. Okay. And let me give you another example. I'll give you 2 more examples. So let's say people came from Bookmark to the shop. So what this means is they are fan of shops rather than Rakuten itself. Okay. So our merchants are so good at making websites. Many actually customers become just fan of shops rather than Rakuten. Okay. They come to the shop, and then they sometimes use no service in Rakuten. And then whether they buy it or they don't buy it. Okay? And it's actually more often they don't buy it. And I was wondering, why this is so. And I just discussed, I thought about it for a while and just noticed this is just window shopping. People, it turns out, girls looking at the clothes is usually this kind of situation happens a lot. For example, one person came to the dress shop so many times, like 10 to 20 times in a month. And she buy one clothes at some point, but you keep coming back to the same shop many times. Just I don't know what they're doing, but this want to check out whether there's more cute clothes or not. And such a window shopping does exist online. Okay? And identifying such a kind of window shopping path is extremely crucial because you've heard of conversion rate is a very important factor for designing your website. But look at this. This has nothing to do with conversion rate. It actually lowers conversion rate because they just come to the website and they don't buy anything. But is it busting, right? No, it's not because they want to enjoy the experience of looking at the clothes or something, right? So tracking down conversion rate is sometimes is not a great idea. You have to understand the intention of the user first, and then determine what number to follow to grow your company. Okay? And because our company is really focusing on entertainment, maybe for this path, conversion rate is really not what we want to focus on. Okay, that's another example. And third example is bookmark to top page, purchase history, and then make a purchase. Okay, and there could be a few different intentions involved in this kind of path, but one particular path that's important to us was actually repeat purchase. Okay, they actually go to a previously bought item, and they actually buy exactly the same item twice. Okay, such as water. It's very heavy stuff. And if you look at the conversion rate of this path, I can't give you actually the exact number. It's ridiculously high. And with that kind of a conversion rate, you can get you can come up with some other idea. Right? I think basically why Greg Linden actually was pretty successful in doing that was probably because of this, right? If the conversion rate of this path is so high, why don't you just recommend items here? Because those people are willing to already make a purchase with something else. Then maybe it's much easier to buy another one, right? So this kind of understanding this kind of paths really gives you a very strategic idea of how to improve your website. It's not just very surface idea. It's very deep. Okay, so my point was if you look at different paths, you can get really good idea of what users do in their needs. And more concretely, you can follow up a few numbers. You guys are computer scientists, so you really have to follow some quantitative numbers, such as an item reaching rate. Do people find items okay? Review rate. Do people get more convinced after reading reviews? Conversion rate. So this is what I talked about before. Is the design of a website good enough to convince people to buy? And maybe you can find reasoning or logic behind each of them. And the whole point is you have to ask why. Why people want certain things. And, this way of looking at the navigation really gives you the answer. Okay. So do you have any questions? Okay. So I'm getting to the end. I want to re-emphasize that data science, right, is really exists to provide better services to the customers. Okay, and as a scientist, of course, I'm really interested in understanding people's behavior. But at the end, we really want to do something good to the society, right? And my belief is such understanding of customers and data analysis really can lead to a much better society and much happier crowd, right? So for example, Facebook, it really promoted our friendship. Of course, some people object, maybe we are more careless about offline communications, but because I'm from Harvard, I've been using Facebook for a long time, right? I believe, those kind of new services which get really popular are often improving their lifestyle. And I think with our services, I think we can really do omotenashi services to lots more people. Okay. And my other point is, to do that, you really have to look at things from customer point of view. Okay. Of course, company has their own goals, and I have to really, I cannot really ignore them. But at the same time, you can easily incorporate, customer point of view. What do people want and what do people not want? Okay. And when I come to company, and that's why actually I started, working on an email issue at the very first as a project. And they, the company is willing to actually seriously improve our mailing system. Okay. We have 7,000 workers, so it's not easy to convince every single one of them to do something. But at least it's a move. It's a kind of a first step. So that's what our teams are doing right now. So our team is kind of free to do. And I really have to acknowledge everybody who's doing a lot of work. So I could only touch on very small stuff, right? Because of credential issues, it's all a confidential issue. We cannot really give you too much numbers. But there's lots of different numbers going through this behind this. And I want to acknowledge our team. So our team leader is Nishioka-san, and he's really top-notch computer scientist. I don't know if you guys talk with them. He belongs to RIT as well, and he's from the start, working with me on this kind of project. And I don't know what's the name. He's a super creator or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So Monkasho is choosing very few people every year who's a very good computer scientist, and he was chosen as one of them. And he's really good. Okay? And I really enjoy working with him. One of the best. Even Harvard standard, he's really good. And other members are also often have a computer science background. Kanta Kinoshita is an economics major, was an economics major, and he has a master's degree, and he was a very good analyst. He can program. And Suiki-san is an extremely good Hadoop programmer, big data programmer. It's very good. And Miyazawa-san is like very good thinker, and she comes up with very good ideas. And she also is a manager. She manages people. It's not easy to manage engineers sometimes. And she's great. She's just one of the best managers we have in the engineering department. And so we have really fun and amazing team. It's a very small team. It feels like having a venture company within a huge company. Because we just very small people. Just have to propagate our own thoughts, right? Like we should reduce emails and that. Okay. And as I said, what I could talk about today was really tip of iceberg, very small amount. So if you're interested, please talk with those people. So Kanta is here, Nishioka-san's here, and I'm here. I think Miyazawa-san's here. Suiki-san is traveling right now, so she's not here. But if you find them, just talk with them. They're really good people. And of course, because we are kind of a newly started team, we are recruiting a ton of people. We're always looking for somebody who's eager to discover interesting way to look at human behaviors and construct new frameworks. And so hiring as well as internship. There are a bunch. We just started and we have hired actually a few people. So please let me know if you're interested. All right, thank you very much.
I think you guys must have some question for Nagawa-san, and if you have some question, please let me see your hand.
Yeah. And any again.
I was wondering how did you get these behavior paths of users? Because they seemed like maybe did you come up with them yourself and then checked if that exists, or do you have some kind of automation to see?
Oh, I
these
see.
things?
Yeah. So there's a very well-known tool called Site Catalyst.
Yes.
And you know this.
No.
So Site Catalyst actually kind of gets people's past behavior. Every click. I think that some of them they click, collect, and just anonymize it and put it in a big bus. And actually, Site Catalyst itself wasn't actually sufficient. The whole point is we have data, right? And how to process it really depends what you want to look at. And once you have an idea, what you want to create this kind of a path, and you have to kind of see for one day history of customer behavior. You want to just collect, what people are doing. It's actually not that difficult. Just kind of put together, yeah. Because each page has each kind of signal.
Yes.
Just put it together. So we know what the volume is, what the conversion rate is for each path. Yeah, I mean, if you start working with us, I can tell you much more about it. Yeah, it's it's a lot of fun. I'm really hiding a lot of things from behind this. Yeah, a lot of ideas.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
So, what is the recent topic you discussed with Mikitani-san?
Let me think. So this morning I was coming into a company and he was drinking coffee and he told me my check was open. So I was kidding. But that was a very recent one. But seriously. So the day before yesterday I was in Ichiba meeting, and actually it was really interesting meeting. We discussed very general strategy. So he was really open to discuss. He wanted to grow our company crazy, like 10 times in the very near future. Okay. And he was inviting many ideas. And basically, from this kind of point of view, I came up with 3 ideas. So we actually discussed those kind of grandiose ideas. He actually is very open to suggestions. You can actually even send him an email. Sometimes he responds to your email. It's crazy. So of course, it's Mikitani-san is CEO of huge company, so it's not easy to get his attention. But once he's interested, you can. I even suggested in a few different formats for sending emails, and he responded saying it's very interesting. We should proceed with it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Question. I think it's very good analyzing customer data, but it's very delicate.
Delicate, yeah.
Because
Privacy issue.
you have personal information.
Yes.
How do you deal how do you deal the data which on the side of personal information? How do you
Yeah, we.
same
Yes.
difference between
Right.
personal information that you cannot use and the one you
Yes.
can use?
I mean, so we really we're really careful about how to deal with customers' data. We don't want it's really a serious issue, right? And we basically try to separate 2 crucial information from something that we can deal with. Okay. Usually, so I think world standard for dealing with personal information is if that information is enough to identify who this person is. That's very privacy data. You have to be really careful about that data. But some other data, for example, maybe I come one day from if I get for example, if somebody finds out I went through this, there's no way they can identify me from this past, right? So that's kind of how we deal with it. So we kind of separate information which is kind of summarized and also it's not easy to identify an individual from the more private data, and we try not to touch this data as much as possible. We only deal with this part unless it's completely necessary. And even if it's necessary, we kind of do it in the back end. Try to hash certain things so that we individual cannot really tell who is who. Okay. So there's more detail, I think, way to do it. Actually, I'm not responsible for this kind of risk management. I don't know too much, but there's a very good procedure to do it.
So I'm still thinking about the question, but I think are you already at a point where maybe like the site would completely change with information you have? For example, with Amazon,
Yes.
I mean, there's like a tiny box and it says, wouldn't you like to buy this maybe?
Yeah.
But the rest of the site looks the same.
I see,
But with, I mean, if you try to predict user behavior,
yeah.
maybe it would be better, I mean,
Yes,
to just
yes.
have a search box if
Yes,
someone
yes,
just wants to search.
So it goes step by step. So yes, we are proposing a very big change, but you know, of course, the things at risk is at stake is
Yes.
is a lot
Yes.
different things. So
But
we
maybe,
have to proceed step by step.
but
It's true.
do you think maybe someday, or do you have the feeling
Oh,
that
in the
maybe it
future.
could be,
Oh
that
yeah,
it could be like that?
definitely.
Yeah.
We are working in a very different directions. For example, you know, top-page design, or you know, how a search box should be oriented, etc. We have different idea going on proceeding, and yes, because our company cares about so much about speed. You know, one of the things is speed.
Yes.
So if it takes so long, we're not doing it. So yes, in the very near future, things should change dramatically. You know, Kashiwa-san, Sato Kashiwa-san, who
No.
is a designer of a Uniqlo logo,
No.
as well as our company logo. He's one of the greatest designer, and he became the designer producer in our company. We hired him.
Cool.
So yeah, you know, so that fact alone tells you how we are actually seriously thinking about designs. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yeah, how do you improve your messaging and email system? And you know, I spent like 5 minutes for the registration, but I spent half an hour to cancel all the spam.
This
So
is
this
Roxanne,
is
right?
very critical for your
Yes.
for the LinkedIn and then your time.
I agree. No, I completely agree. And our team is a very small team, and we are making our voice as big as possible to try to improve things. Yeah. I cannot talk about detailed strategy, but we are working hard. Yes.
I have a question. For this work, it's probably data science. It really depends on the data that you have. And for data, it also depends on the culture group, the ethnic group.
Yes.
and so on. So how do you ensure that there will be the information that the insights that you gain can be propagated from one group to the other group, or is it generalizable?
Oh no, that's a very good question. It's actually one of the most interesting points. Right? So no, this insight themselves is specific to a certain culture, but my point is the approach is generalizable. So basically, you know, we have a company in Taiwan, for example, England, Germany. No, these branch history will be completely different. But this way of thinking about it is completely general. I can just simply apply the same algorithm to them and find their own behavior style.
That's a follow-up. Then would it be similar to data mining type of work?
Sure, you know, you can call it data mining, but my different point of view is okay, sorry. So my point is, so far, I have lots of friends like in Facebook, you know, so because I'm from Harvard, and you know, Mark Zuckerberg comes to Harvard very often to recruit, and so some of my friends are working at Facebook. I met with some of the data scientists in Facebook and LinkedIn, and my impression I got, the impression I got was those data scientists in those companies are usually working to solve problems. My point is, it's much more interesting to come up with the questions. And not many company is bold enough to let data scientists come up with the question themselves. That's the difference. You know, data mining, we try to answer some questions, some hypotheses, but hypothesis creation is the most important part of the science, and as a thesis, that I know for sure. That's the difference. I think it's just approaching the difference. And so you're free to come up with your own idea in our team and kind of solve it for yourself. Right.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you have more questions, please ask me later. I have free time. Okay, so yeah, thank you very much.